Hi everyone, hola. Welcome to my podcast. Let's talk with JJ's. ¿Cómo están, my beautiful flowers? Thank you for watching this Zoom, this vlog episode, interview, and all that is good for your ears, for your eyes, and for your soul. I'm excited to connect with my invited guest, Miss Barbie-Q. Say hello. There she is. Pronouns are they, she. Este, Miss Barbie-Q is a multi-talented artist, activist, and just a wonderful human being. And we met at a play in Casa 0101 in 2020. And that's how we met, and we are connecting now. So thank you. And she's going to share her first time story. So I'm excited to hear it for the first time. Thank you.
It's so interesting to like share it. Thank you for having me on. It's so interesting to ask that specific question. Uh, I don't share this story with a lot of people, so this is it. This will be interesting. Um, to go down the list of questions you sent me. How old was I when I lost my virginity? I was about 23 when I lost my virginity. How old was the other person? The other person was I think he was in his mid 30s.
Okay.
Mid 30s. Was the other person a virgin? Definitely not. He knew what he was doing.
Oh,
Were we dating? No. I met him at a club, and I'll get into that story in a minute. I met him at a club. Um, did I grow up in a house where sex talk was not permitted? Growing up in a black family, um, I think my mom left sex talk to learning it in school.
right.
Because back in the 80s, I'm an 80s child. They taught sex. Yeah, right. They taught sex education, but I realize now, being older, that sex education was more of sex fear education, where it was more like, don't get an STD, don't get pregnant, all those kinds of things that they weren't taught. We weren't taught about, like, talking about what our needs are and what sexual pleasure is. And
Yes.
we weren't taught to, like, say, to be empowered about sex and stuff. They were just like, wear a condom if you're gonna have sex, and don't get pregnant, and
Yes.
STDs and discharge and pain and syphilis. And
Yes.
they scared us into, like, the consequences of sex, not about the pleasure or anything like that. So it was very, I realized it was very conservative in the education, which was sad because that left us to our own devices.
And that's how I learned, like just researching because we didn't have all that information that we just had the, minimal of like the
Yeah.
fear of it. But yes, I completely get it.
I wish I would have learned a lot of this earlier.
I've gotten that a lot from a lot of stories that are being shared with me. And they're very happy that I'm doing this because even my nieces, I'm like, they're 14, 15. I'm like, you need to hear my podcast
You need to hear this now,
now.
before you make mistakes and stuff.
Exactly.
The other question: did you use protection? No, we did not use protection. And did they provide protection for me? No.
No. So yeah,
So
she did as well. But yeah.
let me set up this story.
Okay. Yay.
Oh goodness, this was around 1995, 93, 94, 95, around that area. I had oral sex, and I had done kissing and stuff from like 18 until that time, but I was saving myself. I was like, I wanted to be with the right person. I
Right.
wanted to be, with somebody I'm into. And of course, all my friends are like, girl, just go, just, can I curse on here?
Yes, I
Yeah,
looked it up because I cursed and I'm
yeah.
like, am I allowed to curse on my podcast?
Okay, yeah, you can just beef it out. But all my friends were like, "Girl, just go get fucked,
Yeah.
go get it over with." So I remember, and this is the time I was just starting doing Miss Barbie-Q too. So I had just done a gig in West Hollywood, and I went to this bar called Rage, to go have a drink. And actually, I think I was performing at Rage, and this beautiful black man came up to me and was like, "Can I buy you a drink?" And I was like, "Yes." And so, yeah, he was gorgeous,
Yes,
and
why
I mean,
not?
he was like big and muscly,
Ooh,
and he had on like nurses scrubs. And I said, "Why do
ooh.
you have on nurses scrubs?" He goes, "Well, I work over at Cedar Sinai. I just got off work. I wanted to have a cocktail, and I saw you, and so we just started talking, and we talked for hours.
Oh, I love
You know,
those conversations.
yeah, we just kept talking and stuff, and we talked until like the club closed. And
Wow.
I remember the bartender. You know, the West Hollywood bartenders are like so handsome. The
Oh, yes.
bartender walked over to him and was like, "Hey, I'm closing up. Do you want to hang out afterwards?" And he looked at me, and then he looked at him, and then he looked at me, and he said, "No, I'm cool." And I
Ooh.
was like, "I know, right?" I was like, "Did he just turn down him over to for me?"
Yeah.
Oh my God. I was like, "Oh my goodness." And he said, "Yeah, I'd like to get to know you more and stuff." And I was like, "Okay." And then we started making out over at Rage, and he said, "I really want you," like saying all the things that, a girl wants to hear.
Yeah, and that's what I was saying, like we fall for these words that men give
Ew.
us. Especially when they're beautiful and just, confident and sexy and they just know and you're like, oh, they know.
And you're feeling seen. You're feeling
Yes.
heard and you're feeling seen. But I think the main thing is that you're feeling desired.
Mm.
And I never felt desired before. And it was intoxicating. It's an addictive feeling. I see why people jump from person to person to person, because there's that initial spark that you just can't, you want it all the time. And so he said, let's do something cute. Let's go to the beach. And this is like 2 o'clock in the morning.
Oh,
And
okay.
he said, follow me to the beach. So we drove from West Hollywood to Santa Monica Beach, and I was like, oh my God, I'm driving to Santa Monica Beach. It's 2 o'clock in the morning. I'm following this dude.
You had a feeling something was, of course, sexually gonna happen.
Yeah, yeah, well, I wasn't sure what was gonna happen, but again, it's that unknown of like, I'm going to. It was an adventure.
Yes,
It was an adventure. Whatever happens,
exactly.
it's an adventure. So I remember driving, following him, and just kept thinking, you could turn any time and go home, but I didn't. And I kept thinking, just go home, just go home. No, just keep going. No, just go home, go home. No, go. And so I followed him there, and he knew where this like church was over there in Santa
Oh,
Monica.
he's been there before.
That had like this little like under, you know when you go to the basement of the church, you step down and there's like
Yes.
these stairs.
Yes, and the
He
beach.
knew, yeah, he knew the spot. Like I realize now, he knew where the fuck he was
He
going.
knew exactly what he was
He knew
doing.
exactly where he was going. So we went to this spot, and I remember walking down these stairs, and it was dark and it was cold. There was all these rose bushes that like covered where the stairs were, and I thought it was so pretty because you could smell all the rose bushes.
Ooh.
And so we started making out, and he's all like, I want to fuck you. And I was like, I don't know, I've never done it. And then he kept, kissing my neck and kissing my breasts and kissing, all over. And I was in drag at the time.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was gonna say, well, you're in
Yeah,
drag.
I was in drag at this. That was when Moesha was out, so I had these like wig
Okay.
with braids and stuff. So I had this braided wig, and I had on this tank top, and I had on these short shorts and combat boots, and
Mm,
I
yeah,
had
I
my
know.
little.
I know how you dress up. I know.
Yeah, so
Love it.
I was looking all ghetto fabulous, and
Wait, he knew when you told him that you were a virgin, so it was the first time you shared that with him.
yeah,
And he was just like, he didn't like he's just like, okay, whatever, but
yeah, he didn't care that I it that I not that it is a big deal,
it
but
is.
it wasn't like he didn't stop and go, oh my goodness, this
Right,
is your first time.
right,
What can I do to make sure that it's nice
right.
and stuff like that. But I remember when he finally got my pants down, and while he was inside me, um, I kept thinking, this is not how I want
Yeah.
this to be. I want candles and roses, and I wanted to be in a bed. And I
Yeah.
realized I was talking out loud. I realized I was talking out loud, and
Oh my.
he said, "What'd you say?" And I was like, "Oh no, nothing, never mind." But I just kept thinking, this isn't how
Yeah. That's
this.
the OMG moment.
Yeah, this isn't it. And I remember even being so intoxicated from drinking that I kind of passed out.
Oh.
And I remember waking up, like I passed out for like a minute or two, and I remember waking up and like my braids had gotten caught in the rose bushes while he was fucking me. And so I'm like trying to
No.
take out my braids out of the rose bushes, and he's fucking me. And then he like finished and was like, that was great. And like, and I was like, do you want my number? And he was like, oh no, that's okay. And then he got in his car and left. And so I'm like,
Pinche.
and, yeah. So I'm sitting there by the rose bushes at 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning,
Uh-huh.
like fixing myself, putting my, putting my clothes back on. And like drove off. And I remember walking to my car going, he didn't deserve this.
Mm-mm.
He
I'm
didn't
so
deserve this.
sorry
And I
to
remember
hear
driving home going, this was a mistake.
that.
This was not how I wanted to go. I remember getting in the shower that night and crying
Yeah.
because this was not how I wanted anyone to like deflower me.
Right.
And it wasn't that I gave it away, it was that he took it.
Yeah.
And it wasn't mutual.
Right.
And it's something that has sat with me. And did he use condoms? No. But I kept thinking, I can't take this back.
Right. No, I
I
get
can't start over. And so I did, it did mess me up sexually, where now I was very picky after that about who I had sex with. Um I don't think I had sex again, like full on penetration sex, for like another 4 years.
wow.
4 or 5 years after that, I was very, very standoffish about it. Sex scared me.
Right.
Um, you know, I got very protective
Yes.
about it. A lot of my friends were like, "You're a prude. You know, you should just give it up. You know, it's not a big deal." And I wonder if the patriarchy taught me that it's a big deal. You know, Puritans and
Yeah.
Catholic Church, and
Right.
it's a it's a precious thing that you should never to give to just anybody. You know how they teach us that it's a
Yes.
precious thing you can't just give to anyone, and if any person that just gives themselves to someone is a whore or a slut or anything. Yeah, so I fought through that whole like, I don't want to be perceived as a whore, but I don't want to just give it to anybody who says hello to me either.
Right.
And cut to now with social media and dating apps and stuff, and people just like have sex. People are like, so when I come over, we're gonna have sex, and I'm like, I just met you. And
Right.
they're like, I'm like, can we have coffee?
Exactly. Yes.
It's a giving over of ourselves. It really is. And each time I have sex, it is a giving of our whole beings. I don't think I had really good sex until the third time I was with someone.
Okay.
And he was an older guy. We were in his bed. He took his time. Like, he asked me
Good.
questions while we were doing it. Do you like this? Do you like that? How does
Oh,
that feel?
see?
Can you do this to me? It was such this beautiful, like, oh, this is how it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
And once you have good sex, you
Explosions.
You can, yeah, it sets the bar, honey. You
Yeah, they're
can't.
like, I'm taking more of this.
Yeah, it sets the bar about like all the rest. Like, you realize you're dealing with men and then boys.
Yes.
You realize men know how to ask questions and take their time, and they might have an agenda, but they'll make sure that you're listened and heard and desired. Boys fumble around, unbuckle their pants as soon as they walk in the door, don't ask you anything, don't even want to look you in the face, honey. You
Right,
know, don't even want to kiss you, but they
right,
want to fuck you.
right.
It's weird, and I'll ask questions while I'm talking to someone of like, you've been saying that I go, have you asked about my needs? And then
Exactly.
they'll go, oh, what do you like to do? And I'm like, I shouldn't have to ask you that.
Mhm.
I shouldn't have to ask you what my needs are. And I said, if you're a selfish lover, and you know if you're selfish or not, if you know you selfish, if you know you're all about your own nut, I can't be bothered. And what gets me is that what other women and femmes allow men to do, because if a dude comes at you and is not about your needs, that means he's done that to other people,
Yes.
and no one else has told him shit until you. Now you're the one telling him my needs. I need to have this and this and this, and all of a sudden they're like, "Oh my God, you're asking all these things," and it's like, hasn't anyone else asked you this?
That's the thing I was gonna tell you. Like, we need to tell those boys or show them or teach them, because I've encountered, dating younger.
Yeah, me too. They coming for me too.
Right. And so I help teach. Like, this is what
Do you see, Rosa? I can't.
I do.
Sometimes, when I
And
was in
I
my
love
in my,
also
in my,
that.
thir- in my 30s and 40s, I was like down to like be the teacher in the bedroom, and yeah, let me show you how it's done, kid. So you can, go into the world knowing how to have sex. Now I'm
But
older,
not
and
just that, but show others how to, connect and how to appreciate each other, but also think of what the other person also wants. Just
yes.
communication on their minds.
Sometimes I don't want to be the teacher.
Oh, I like it.
Sometimes I don't want to be the teacher. Sometimes I don't want to have to take on that role of instructing in bed. And I've had dudes ask me, can you teach me? Can you teach me? And I'm like, sometimes I don't have the capacity for that. Sometimes I just
Be
want to have.
dominated.
Yeah, sometimes I just want to have good sex, and I'll admit I had good sex on Saturday,
Okay.
and he was, yeah, he was really, really good.
Well, on that note, I think we can close this episode and this connection that we're having, because I'm like, oh my God, I gotta go on Hinge now. With this
Absolutely.
closing, thanks again. I want you to share your Instagram and anything that you want on you, because you're an activist, you're an artist, you're all around Renaissance woman.
Oh goodness. You can follow me on Instagram at Miss Barbie-Q LA. That's MISS Barbie like the doll, capital Q, LA. I'm doing the Frida Kahlo monologue festival that we're actually going to be filming it this upcoming Sunday with Cinnamon, and so I'm doing a 10-minute monologue and a performance uh, that that'll be streaming in February. So we're going to be filming that. So that's coming up.
Great.
And other than that, working on little projects here and there. I did another project called Transmutation with three other trans, non-binary people of color, talking about child sexual assault
Wonderful.
and how sex also plays into how we relate to people and how we view the world and stuff like that too. So we might be streaming that again. I'll post some stuff on my Instagram about
I
that.
love it. That's
Yeah,
wonderful. Great.
all
Always
about
doing great
healing.
things. And I'm trying too. So here we are. Salute to that. If you have coffee, you
Salud.
don't. I
Exactly.
I
Saluda.
will I will post all of your connections and social media and link it so people can see.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I love you. Bye,
Love
everyone.
you.
Let's talk with you
Bye.
until next time. Bye.
Bye.